The following is a production of cprundown.com. The views and opinions expressed by the host of this podcast are those of the individual and not of any affiliated companies. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast covering the Cedar Fair Entertainment Company, the amusement industry, and the business of fun. Here are your hosts, Karsten Anderson, Evan Schultz, and Kyle Hu.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast where we cover Cedar Fair, Cedar Point, and everything to do with fun. And Karsten, you came down to visit me this week, and I am so darn tired that I'm going to let you guys take over the intros.
Yeah, he's just, I'm dead. I officially killed Kyle.
Yes.
But anyway, we've got a lot of news to talk about, so we can just
yes, we do. I mean, I was going to interject really quick. I think we had advertised a few times, hey, we're going to talk about Epic Universe next episode. And the parks had different ideas, so no Epic Universe yet.
That, and also, I didn't get to tell you guys, but I might have a plan for that. Stay tuned for that. We might be adding possibly a special guest for Epic Universe and things like that. I know you guys are mind blown as well. The faces are great. If anybody can see them, they're
I do not know of this.
After the show, I will let you guys know what my plan is. But anyway, speaking of plan, the park, Tony, went live for over an hour on TikTok at Cedar Point to show off a bunch of Top Thrill 2 stuff. We listed a bunch of the key points on our Facebook page to show off what was said if you weren't able to watch the live TikTok, because the video, it was live, and then obviously the park didn't save it. So if you didn't get to see it, then that's too bad on you. But anyway, I'm just going to go through some of the bullet points, and if we want to stop at any of those, we can go ahead. I think the first one is going to be the Speed Zone, that big old gift shop. I know Kyle was talking about it a little bit. Is going to get a facelift with like a new floor, lighting fixtures. It said like possibly the outside might get redone-ish or so. From what I was watching on the live and stuff and everything. So I'm curious to see what that's going to be. What that's going to be like.
And hopefully they at least raise the floor so that it doesn't flood anymore.
Yeah.
I will fully believe that the only reason that got brought up is because Tony listens to this podcast and he wanted to answer my question personally.
Well, there you go. Right. Yeah. So.
Well, if that's the case, hi, Tony.
Yeah. Right. Hello. So anyway, so I'm excited about that. I know we were talking about being excited for something like that. So I can't wait to see what's going on with that. Speaking of that, he also did talk about, obviously we know new merch was coming, and he said on the live, he said there was a big thick deck, and the deck is like a PowerPoint, is what he was saying. And the PowerPoint was like filled with like tons and tons of pictures of all kinds of merchandise. There's going to be supposedly there might be a coaster cutout of Top Thrill 2. There might be a new Squishmallow. I'm sure there's going to be hats,
Nano
t-shirts,
coaster,
mugs, shot glasses, stickers, pins, buttons, made to thrill posters. I mean, they're just going to, hopefully we'll be able to see some of this merch at Winter Chill Out this weekend. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure Evan is just going to, his credit card is going to be on fire.
I get paid tomorrow. Winter Chill Out is not tomorrow, the day after. So
yeah. So
I think that's just God saying, have fun at Point Plaza.
Goodbye paycheck.
Yeah,
that's all right. That's why you work the big boy jobs.
I've learned from the past that a lot of the stuff, or really none of the stuff at Winter Chill Out is necessarily Winter Chill Out exclusive. So I need to space myself out. Just buy a couple things now. It'll still be there at opening day.
Yeah, Evan, you'll like this. They're actually said that they're testing new food, and also they'll be themed to Top Thrill 2 and stuff and everything throughout the park. But they did actually say more details will be announced later. Maybe Winter Chill Out, maybe a little bit.
That screams Winter Chill Out. That Winter Chill Out lunch right there.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe we'll have some plan, like some fries, like spicy fries or something, or or maybe like a burger or something that's like spicy. I don't know. I feel like they want to be spicy about it because, like, I don't know, Top Thrill 2 is like, it's back and it's spicier than ever.
It makes sense. It makes sense. Did they say, so there's not going to be a dedicated food stand for this? It's just going to be like, hey, Grand Pavilion's got this
they didn't
Top
say,
Thrill treat, and then
they didn't.
Backbeat's got this other little Top Thrill treat.
Yeah, they just said more details later on. So
they probably don't even know yet.
Right. They did announce. I know that a lot of people, especially on our Facebook page, have been like, "Oh, the keychain was just for you to like find out, and it was just supposed to be like the announcement." And just
people that were like pissed about the keychain when you posted it. They're like, "That doesn't mean anything. How could you be so dumb to think that it means something?" Well, it does. That has been said many times.
Yep. They said
so
that
simmer down.
Whatever the purpose for it will be announced within the next few weeks. So we'll find out what the keychain mean, if it's a invite to media day, or if it's a ride first before anybody else, or I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Something just dawned on me that it might be kind of lame, but like I don't mind it. I wonder if the keychain will be like, show your keychain at the ride photo booth and you'll get your first ride photo for free.
That'd be kind of cool. Or maybe like who's to say that it could be like an exclusive poster that, hey, you gotta like give your keychain away or show your keychain or something, and you are the only person that's gonna get this poster or T-shirt or whatever. So I don't know. I've been so.
I feel like it's going to be in the merchandise department. Like, I don't think it's going to be like, hey, here's your fast lane for opening day, because that's just going to be a mess.
Right.
Like,
So
I feel like it's going to be merchandise, exclusive merchandise.
It could be that, or it could be like I said, it could be a certain invite to something. We don't know. So
we'll see.
And then also the Winter Chill Out attendees will get special views, obviously, of the ride area. I know that Tony did say that like it is a hard hat area, but specifically where they were standing in the video, but he didn't say specifically on the midway and stuff. So I'm curious to see if we can walk by where the gift shop is, if they'll set up like a little perimeter where you can walk around and get some pictures.
And I mean, they haven't. There's been times where they've given us hard hats for hard hat areas. I remember for Steel Vengeance, so it's not completely out of the realm of possibility.
No,
that we're
that'd
really
be a lot of hard hats. That'd be a lot of hard hats, but you know,
get some disinfectant spray and rent 20 of them. And just spray them. Here's your hard hat. 5 minutes. Come back.
They did say loose article policy will be announced later. Obviously lockers are still going to be available. They didn't say specifically if lockers were going to be in line, or if you're not going to be like, they haven't said anything about like if you can take cell phones on the ride, or if you can take nothing on the ride, if there's metal detectors or anything. They just said that's going to be announced later on. So
I think it'll be pretty similar to original Dragster.
And then also
like Millennium is now.
Yeah, a lot of people asked if there was going to be a stopper at the top of the spike. Like I asked at the holiday party, and Tony said that there will not be a stopper at the top of off the spike, but there's actually multiple systems in place on the launch to where it's not needed. I thought that was really cool. It's really cool to see how technology is going and stuff. Moving along,
I do wonder though, like, would it kill him to put a stopper up there just for like GP peace of mind?
Right? Like, no, maybe just adds more to the thrill, you know? Like, no seatbelts. No seatbelts was confirmed. Obviously, we confirmed that at IAPA, but nobody likes to listen to our posts that we've been posting about. But yes, they have obviously said there's no seatbelts. It's just, you know, the restraint that goes over, I guess, your body. That'll speed up operations big time. It's almost like if anyone thinks about like Maverick, it's almost kind of like something like that, but you don't have the vest. It's literally just like the belt. Get rid of the vest.
And there's no buckle. Well, I wouldn't even call that a seatbelt. The buckle from the restraint to the seat.
Yes.
None of that.
Yes. A lot of people asked about capacity, and then saying that it possibly could be decreased because they're going from 6 trains to 3 trains.
That's not how that works.
But they actually said that the capacity probably most likely will increase due to a quick turnover, because the linear anybody want to? I can't say that.
Linear synchronous motors
Thank you. Can be done like within like pretty much a click of a finger, to where the old hydraulic system would take almost about a full minute to like reset, recharge the nitrogen and the hydraulic, and however that all works.
Not to mention the uptime is going to be like 100% better. I mean,
yes,
once it gets dialed in, opening weekend will be bad. Just telling you now.
Probably opening month, I'd say, would probably. Well, no, I'm not saying. I'm just saying that this
expect the worst. It's
got a lot
opening.
to. I mean, it still has. It's still a complex system, but it's not as many moving parts as what they were saying, and things like that. So, which is good. So they were also saying that those motors, when there's no power to them, so like for instance, if the power cuts out or something, those act like brakes. So literally, it'll just kind of brake you right there. Like there's no like up and down brakes and things like that. Is what they were. At least that's what I was gathering. So,
which again, less moving parts.
Yes. Yeah. They said there's going to be a new control panel, which is going to be much more simplified compared to the old top row one that used to be there. I know that I saw pictures of it like from years and years and years ago, and there was like buttons for everything and anything. Now, obviously, like a ride op will push a few specific buttons. A lot of those buttons are normally for maintenance and things like that, but it's nice to see that it's getting that. They also said that there's going to be 5 block zones, which will allow the train to launch more efficiently. So, someone asked about if there's going to be an on-ride camera, and they said it was delivered today and it'll be in place very soon. They didn't say where it was going to be at, so I'm curious to see what they're going to do with that.
Interesting.
The big one everyone was asking about was what is the theming going to be for Top Thrill 2? Is there going to be the headbacks, hold on, the ready to go effect, the lighting, Christmas trees on the top hat, whatever? They have said that they will announce that at a later time. Tony wasn't ready to reveal any of that cool stuff, and I really hope that the song comes back. And if
the song does not come back, this whole project's a failure. I'm just letting you know that now, Tony.
Can't say that.
Just letting you know.
No, you get to go up the tower. Damn it, you get to go up the tower.
Well, AirPods better be allowed on the ride.
You'll be fine. You got your imagination. If the song doesn't come back and you go up 375 to 380 feet in that back car, you're not going to think anything about that damn song.
I know.
You'll be like, oh my gosh, I don't care about the song. Let me ride. I just
want to drive home the point to any people with influence that are listening.
Yeah.
Would it kill you? Would it kill you, man? Please.
Hey, you know what? Maybe if they don't bring it back, maybe it's because it's a money issue. Maybe the band that did record it or something could be, they could be asking for too much than what the park wants to give. So I don't know.
In that case, boycott that band.
But yeah, so they said all that stuff is going to be announced at a later date. I know that we've seen pictures, and obviously on that live stream, we did see that Top Thrill 2 still has those Christmas tree lights on the tower itself. So maybe that's a good sign that those are going to stay and they're going to continue to work and stuff, which would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, you would think they'd take them down when the crane was there, if that was the plan.
Yeah, I mean, unless they're just going to take them down individually when the elevator. Because I think they actually were added. I think after the ride, I think they were maybe delayed or something or whatever when the ride was first built, and they got them up there somehow. So I don't know if they used a temporary crane or if they put them in the elevator and went up there and installed them themselves. Because when the ride first opened, they didn't even have them on the tower. I do remember that. Evan, you'll be happy with this. You'll be happy with this one. The bleachers is actually staying. They're going to get remodified somehow. And it says that they're going to possibly get, refurbished and refreshed, and that space is going to be updated somehow. So,
I guess it doesn't confirm, but that means that the freestyle is staying, and that was my biggest complaint with them getting rid of the bleachers.
I would assume so, unless they really dub it down and make it. Maybe they'll get rid of those big bleachers and maybe they'll put a smaller. I don't know, a smaller set, or maybe they'll just leave it how it is. So. Again, maybe we'll find more out at Winter Chill Out. Maybe we'll see renderings and pictures and things like that.
Hopefully.
The queue is being poured with brand new concrete, and it's going to be rerouted. Looks like there's going to be a single line. It looks like for Fast Lane Plus. It doesn't look like it's going to merge into the regular line. It looks like it's literally kind of like a straight shot from when you get in line, go all the way up the stairs because it's got its own staircase, and then.
So when you say that, you're saying like it's going to be like Maverick's Fast Lane is, where you just never touch the other line. You just go straight into the station if you're Fast Lane.
It looks like that. So
good.
And yeah, so I mean, I think that's pretty much wraps up everything. They did say, testing is going to start probably within the next few weeks or so. They don't have all the trains on the track just yet. They're still working on the control panels, and they are still working out like how high it's going to go and stuff or whatever. They said like around 375 is what their initial testing when they were doing it in December.
That's
when we got
better than I anticipated. So yeah. that's really good to hear.
Yeah. But I'm super stoked. I mean, seeing this video and having Tony walk around and stuff and everything, and just seeing all of these crazy details that's going on with the ride and stuff is just really freaking cool. Like, I can't wait to ride this. I know that we've got the countdown going on on our Facebook page. 72 days currently, as long as Kyle gets this up tonight.
Might be 71 days.
Yeah, maybe 71 days or maybe less than that. We'll see what see what happens.
I don't know how I'm feeling yet.
Might be 65 days. I mean, Kyle is coming up here, so it could be like 63 days, and by the time you all listen to this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So just to give you a rundown of the countdowns, we got 72 days. 72 days until Cedar Point opening day. We've got 68 days until the season pass preview days, which more details are coming on that as well. Tony did not share. He said within the next few weeks we'll find out all the details about everything and anything they're gonna say about that. 46 days until the total eclipse of the point, and then 2 days until winter chill out. So
this time of year is so exciting with all those dumb little announcements like that. I love that stuff.
It really does. It's like, ooh, so.
Speaking of dumb little announcements like that, goes a good transition, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't really necessarily call it a dumb announcement.
No,
but Cedar Point did make an awesome, huge announcement today.
Yeah.
Like what, 5 hours ago? Like, if something even like that.
Out of the blue, too.
They just know when we're about to record.
Right.
Yeah, so earlier today, Cedar Point announced that their 1961 Von Roll SkyRide model, aptly named SkyRide, will be getting a little bit of a facelift this season. So it says, since 1961, the SkyRide has given our guests beautiful panoramic views of the main midway. It's a gentle way of transport from the front of the park to the middle and vice versa. Manufactured by Von Roll of Switzerland, the cable car ride is one of the largest remaining rides like it in the world. Our maintenance team has taken wonderful care of this gem so the current generation of riders can create the same memories as those who have been enjoying it all these years. Back in the winter of 2021, our sign shop crafted a design for a SkyRide cabin refresh meant for the summer of 2022. But with the complexity of getting all of the ride's cabins back to the sign shop, the project had to take a pause until now. And then it introduces a current Cedar Point associate named Melissa, and it outlines that Melissa has been with the park for 12 years, holding various positions in rides, marketing, park operations, and now she works in the sign shop, and that she has designed a new look for the SkyRide cabins, and that her new design is loosely inspired by previous SkyRide looks. And then it outlines the process on, how something like that happens. And it says, to get started, Melissa works with a blank canvas, all previous numbers and logos removed. The vinyl is carefully aligned and laid out on the cabin surface. Once it's stuck to the cabin, Melissa peels back the protective layer on the outside, ensuring it's butter smooth with no bubbles or imperfections. And the finished cabins have a few interesting design elements, including the one that's pictured, which is a double-striped green bucket. On the side, you will find the updated Cedar Point logo and a very special treat for all SkyRide aficionados and theme park enthusiasts, which is the vinyl logo of Von Roll, the manufacturer of the ride, which I don't believe has ever been on the Sky Buckets before, but I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, there might have been just like a tiny little plaque inside the cars or something.
Yeah, but this is actually a full-fledged final big cutout. And to wrap up the article, it says, in just a few short weeks, our maintenance team will begin reinstalling the cabins in the SkyRide station, and testing will begin soon after that.
I know that
very awesome.
We've got a really big coaster enthusiast guy that follows our Facebook page, and anytime I post pictures of the SkyRide, I think he's got Von Roll in his actual Facebook name or whatever. He's just absolutely in love with the SkyRide. So I'm sure he's like jumping up and down, waiting for the coaster cutout per se of the new Von Roll and the stickers and whatever. But yeah, definitely take a look at Cedar Point's blog.
Yeah, he posted really awesome pictures of the new.
It's not
the
just
new cars.
It's not just the green that's like highlighted in the stripes and stuff. Like, just to give you an idea, if no one goes to that page, it's like a green with like a dark hunter green, like with like lines, or there's also like an orange with like more maroon color lines, and then also like a yellow with more like a mustard yellow. But I mean, this is honestly like what the park has needed. I think like this refresh is going to look. It's like very small, but it'll actually look, I think, really good. It'll spruce up the midway just a little bit, and then also it's also getting rid of the old Cedar Point logo that was on them, even though it didn't look very old. Like I know Cedar Point, like 4 or 5 years ago, I think, introduced like a brand new, like more simplified, I guess, logo, and it's finally adding that to that.
Minimalistic.
Yes. Speaking of that, I'm curious because on the live, Tony was talking about how Power Tower Refresh, is going to look and stuff, and they said that the blue is pretty much going to be like the blue that's going to be close to the station colors on top of 2, and then obviously the red and the all those yellow pipes in the middle of Power Tower are all going black. I'm curious to think, is this the year? And I don't see why it wouldn't be, unless it's just a money issue and they just haven't done it. I wonder if they update Power Tower, their sign on the very top, because that's got the old Cedar Point logo on the top with a brand new Cedar Point logo on the top. So,
and for those that are like confused, like what new logo? So Cedar Point for like most of the 2000s had kind of a yellow wavy
with like green,
like a yellowy green wavy Cedar. It just said Cedar Point, but it kind of was like squiggly, and now it's just the blue, straight, solid, but like I said, minimalistic. I shouldn't. Not boring isn't the word for it. It's just minimalistic. Yeah, that's what I can say.
I think it looks modern, more.
So yeah, that's the difference in logos that we're talking about.
But like I said, this came out of like complete left field. Like I was like, oh, okay, and like I said, it's nice. I think it'll be a nice addition to the park for sure. And I mean, it's not like super cheap to paint something, but you put a little lipstick on there and we'll make it look a little better. So
yeah, it'll look really good.
I'm really happy to see these parks, Cedar Point and others, taking care of these old Von Roll SkyRides and making them look really good. I know down here in my neck of the woods, Busch Gardens Tampa just reopened theirs, and I went a few weeks ago, and it was so cool. I just
that one's really cool. I happened to be there accidentally on its reopening day.
Did you do it?
Yes.
Hey,
and it was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah,
going over all the animals and stuff, but
I know, and I can never get over
how just the classic feel of those rides.
Yeah, I can never get over how long that one is, and the fact that there's an actual like turn station in it, and it doesn't just go straight.
Yeah, for sure.
When I rode it, I literally, because this was the first time I rode it, you start going down towards that turn. I'm like, okay, well, there's workers in here, so we must have to get off. They're like, you guys enjoying the ride? We're like, yeah. And Jared's kind of like getting up to get out, and he's like, all right, well, enjoy the rest of it. We're like, what? So then we spent the whole rest of the ride looking at that station like, oh yeah, it's not really connected to the park at all. It's just kind of there.
That's pretty cool. I love it.
That's a fun ride. But yeah, it's like Kyle said, very nice to see both this Cedar Point and Busch Gardens taking care of their classic sky rides when other parks seem to just, we'll rip it out.
For sure.
All right.
Well, I was gonna say we want to transition to our next update. Is going to be Iron Menace over there at Dorney Park. That awesome park over there that's getting a brand new coaster. Evan, you want to talk a little bit more about it?
Yeah, I think last episode we had a pretty big update on that, and this is kind of a quick little. Since then, I believe where they had left off was they had just finished the Zero G roll, which is the second inversion out of 4 on Iron Menace. They since then have completed the inclined loop, which I guess, if you've ridden Rougarou or Mantis, you could think the third inversion on that is an inclined loop. So Iron Menace will have that also as its third inversion. So that is complete, which just leaves a Zero G corkscrew, flat roll, flat line, whatever roll, and then a helix, and then the ride is done. And so they're getting real close to finishing that up. So that's really good to see. And this incline loop looks like seriously really cool because it's like really inclined. It's going to be a really cool element, I think.
Yeah.
So I know I said it plenty last time we talked about it, but just really good to see Dorney get a new coaster, and they're so excited about it. And
you can tell they're all excited about it, and
the community's really excited about it because I think everybody's kind of like in the same boat as us. Like, man, it is awesome to see Dorney, do this, and we're all kind of rooting for him.
I think that the park, like just the GP, that it's not crazy coaster enthusiasts and stuff. I think they're gonna love it. I really do. Oh my
god, that ride's good. That's gonna. I bet they have their highest attendance, especially of like just people going to the amusement park like ever this year.
Yeah,
their water park draws a lot of people, but like if there's a metric on how many of our guests come in and go straight to the water park, it's all pay one price, versus how many people just do the amusement park, I feel like that number is going to balance out a lot more this year because the amusement park is definitely getting a major facelift. And I think we forgot to put this on our show rundown, but they also announced that they're adding a new restaurant with Iron Menace that's going to be themed to it, a new gift shop, and their Flying Eagles ride that's right under Iron Menace. It's painted the exact same way as our Lake Erie Eagles up here at Cedar Point. That's getting a facelift to fit the like steampunk factory theme that Iron Menace carries. So, yet another one of these Cedar Fair immersive themed areas. Maybe not on the same scale as some of the other parks, but something really nice for Dorney.
Yeah, no, for sure. I was going to say real quick, we didn't even talk about this at all, but Kings Island posted some photos of Snoopy's Soapbox Racers finally went vertical a few days ago.
And that's such a small ride. That'll probably, the next time we record, it'll probably be done.
Yeah, right. No, so, I mean, that they said they didn't, I don't think they said it was going to be open for opening day.
I think they just keep saying spring.
Yeah, spring. So I would assume probably by like when they finally hit like maybe their daily operations or something like that. Maybe it'll be.
I would say by not Coaster Stock. Coaster Stock's not happening this year. The ACE event that is taking place of Coaster Stock.
Oh yeah,
I would say by then.
Yeah, I would say probably maybe by in May, like beginning of May or so, it might get done. So
yeah, it's that there's not a lot. I wouldn't be surprised to see if the coaster opens before the rest of the Camp Snoopy stuff is done. It's like, okay, the coaster's ready. Let's get that rolling.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah. So, but yeah, it's good to see these progresses, at all these other different Cedar Fair parks because we're time's ticking and summer's approaching. So
little bit of behind the scenes. If anybody is hearing my cats just going berserk in the background, I apologize, but I can't just keep muting my microphone. But anyways, that's all the good news. We got to touch on a little bit of bad news out of Knott's Berry Farm.
Yeah, this is, you know what?
And it's not really confirmed, but people are making their best guesses.
This is one of those stories that just sucks. And, you know, there's no way to sugarcoat it. It's one of those stories that I hoped we would never have to talk about, and it just sucks for everybody.
This was my one Cedar Fair Grinch I really hoped I was wrong about.
You know, one of my favorite Cedar Fair parks, Knott's Berry Farm, has an old Schwarzkopf shuttle loop called Montezooma's Revenge. And there's not much to it. It's a old, intense flywheel launch. You go through a loop, you go up a spike, and then you go through the loop backwards, and then you go back up a spike at the other end of the track. And that's the ride. And it's cute, and it's fun, and it's thrilling, and it never tries to be more than it is, but it was it had kind of a cult following, fan favorite status at Knott's Berry Farm. But anyway, back in very early 2022, it was announced that Montezooma's Revenge would be undergoing a multi-month refurbishment, and that it would be closed for the entirety of the 2022 season and would reopen at some point in 2023 with the reopening of the new or reimagined, whatever you want to call it, land, which was Fiesta Village. Fiesta Village opening came and went, and Montezuma's Revenge never reopened. We got some concept art. We got a new name, which is going to be Montezooma, the Forbidden Fortress. And what was going to be really cool about it was, it was going to give this old ride, new life, but also that the launch sequence would be randomized, so you wouldn't always go forward like on the old ride. Sometimes you'd go backwards. But yeah, like I said, Fiesta Village opening came and went, and no new news was shared about Montezuma, the Forbidden Fortress, except Montezuma, the Forbidden Fortress will not open in Fiesta Village 2023. An opening date has not been scheduled, which was a banner that kind of scrolled across the top of their website if you ever specifically looked up the ride on the Knott's Berry Farm website. And since that, we have not really heard anything. People have been debating on whether or not this ride is gone for good or whether it's still here. And then a couple weeks ago,
wasn't some of the track removed, but presumably to replace it with new track?
Yeah,
wasn't
some of the track was removed to replace it with new track. There's a really good video out there. I don't know who made it, but if you look up Montezuma construction progress, where they're actually working on it. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there, but yeah.
So then recently,
yes, I got it now. I got it. Sorry. Recently when the Cedar Fair parks started rolling out their new apps, someone found that Montezuma had been completely removed from the app. There was no mention of it and nothing to be found.
Removed from the park map as well, I believe.
Yes, also removed from the park map. However, it is still on their website. I'm looking at the page right now.
Me
but
too.
The only thing that's there is that little disclaimer about it won't be reopening with Fiesta Village in summer of 2023, and an opening date has not been scheduled. And then
I still have hope.
Yeah, I still have hope too. It's a fun little ride. And everybody was kind of debating, arguing of, well, it's not very hard to just turn that layer off in the Illustrator document and just publish it without it. And the fact that it's been closed for a while, they probably don't want to keep answering questions about it. So just turn the layer off. That doesn't mean it's gone. It just means it's not in the current park map because it is not a current offering. So there's no need for it to be in the map.
And a lot of parks publish maps based off of the current, season, I guess.
Yeah,
so especially the year-round parks, like if Busch Tampa knows that Iron Gwazi is going to be down for 2 months in the winter, they're just going to kind of, okay, here's our winter lineup, and we're just going to kind of gray out Iron Gwazi. Or that's not a thing that's happening, but that was just what I thought of.
Something, very similar to this. If I were to go to Magic Kingdom right now, Splash Mountain is removed from the park map, and Tiana's has not been placed on the park map yet, but that ride is still very much there and still very much happening. So that argument wasn't really. It was like, it could be right. It, maybe it's not right, but it has some sound. It has some logic to it. And then, I guess, as far as we know, the final nail in the coffin was during the earnings call, which came out a couple weeks ago, where it was said that the Cedar Fair parks would be scaling back on assets, particularly one project that is already underway at Knott's Berry Farm.
And they said it without saying it.
Maybe they're talking about Camp Snoopy, but I highly doubt it.
I believe construction has progressed on Camp Snoopy since that was even published anyways.
Yeah.
So,
like I said, this is just it sucks. It's a terrible story. I really hope that that's not the end. I remember I got so lucky in 2022 when I visited Knott's Berry Farm. I actually visited after Montezooma's was scheduled to be closed, but I don't know if you guys remember, but it was going to be
right.
It was going to be like a really busy weekend, and they were like, let's open it back up. So they reopened it for like 1 weekend, and I was there during that time frame.
See, I was going to say I kind of have hope on it because I know that we were thinking Top Thrill Dragster was going to meet the same fate. They were going to take it down and stuff because we were seeing, like we were trying to read all the tea leaves that we were getting. We were reading and seeing, not really reading, but we were seeing like park images coming out with no tower.
That's true.
No tower
That's
in
true.
all of the concept art. No tower in the banners that they're making for the park to hang up around the park and stuff.
And then it started appearing again.
And then it started reappearing. So then I don't know. It's still on their website. I still have hope. Maybe they're going to possibly work with Vekoma. Maybe they can possibly do something like that, or maybe they're going to see what's going to happen with Zamperla and how Top Thrill 2 works out on refurbishment and the redoing of Top Thrill and everything. Like maybe that's what they're doing. I don't know.
And to your point, Karsten, so the verbiage on that release was a current project that's underway. Maybe that could mean that the current project being the extras that they were planning on adding to Montezooma's, and maybe that project is canceled and they're just going to kind of rebuild Montezooma's Revenge as it used to be and just kind of, oops, sorry guys, kind of screwed that one up. Want to forget about that? Yeah. But I really want them, I don't want to knock on the park, but I want a little bit of transparency from them. Like, what's going on?
To be fair, I have heard a rumor, and I want to stress that this is a rumor, and there's absolutely no fact behind it. It's just what I've heard and what I've read, that whatever contract company Cedar Fair hired to do this, renovation and partial rebuild, kind of botched it and, messed it up pretty bad to the point where it can't be rebuilt, and now Cedar Fair is locked in a lawsuit with that company. If that were the case, not saying it is, but if that were the case, that would explain a lot of why they've just went completely radio silent on the topic.
Yeah, and why nothing's been happening.
Yeah,
they haven't completely torn it down. They haven't continued construction. They're just kind of sitting on it.
Yeah, if there is a lawsuit going on, you can't talk about it.
Yeah, I can see that. That could absolutely be it.
So my next point is Cedar Fair, if you're listening and you are looking for bids for contractors, I think I could do a pretty good job.
Look, it's not that complicated.
There's not a whole lot to it, right? Like, I think I could probably figure it out.
We got the manpower. I went to school for engineering. I think we can make something happen here.
Yeah. Put us up at the Knott's Hotel for a month. Let us have a crack at it.
Knott's Hotel and give us some free tickets to the other parks in the area. You got a deal.
Yeah, I think I can figure
It
it
ain't even gonna cost you millions.
Right. For sure.
It'll be cheap and it'll be done with love.
Yep.
Will it be done right? Maybe not, but it'll be done with love.
All joking aside on the matter, I really do hope that this is not the end for Montezooma's Revenge. Because, I mean, it is, such a classic ride. And
Is that the only Schwarzkopf shuttle loop still in the States?
I don't know. I think so. It has to be, right?
There's one that is that was moved from Mexico. That was Kennywood's old laser loop.
And Gene bought that, right? Gene Staples bought that?
Yeah, Gene Staples bought that, and it's sitting in the parking lot of. It's not called Fantasy Island anymore, up in Grand Island, New York. What is it called? Like Niagara Family Amusement Park
Niagara
or something?
Playland, something like that.
It's sitting in the parking lot in pieces. So with Gene Staples, I mean, he's already building another Schwarzkopf coaster that looks like it's finally going to open this year. Maybe we got one. Maybe he's got one more in him. So at least we can get another Schwarzkopf shuttle loop back in operation. But I got to think he's probably been scared off by this whole Montezooma thing.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. If anything, that'll teach him don't try to fix it. Just put the damn thing up.
Yeah. Trust Anton. It's all there. You're fine.
Fix something that's not broke.
Right. Like Scorpion at Busch Tampa. I mean, it's another Schwarzkopf, and that ride it's rickety. It's Schwarzkopf in every sense. Mm-hmm. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that ride still is awesome.
That's a fun ride. I just did that a couple weeks ago.
That's an intense little ride.
I went on it had to have been one of the busiest days that park has seen in a long time. So I didn't do a whole lot besides SkyRide, Scorpion, and I sucked it up and waited for Cheetah Hunt for a little bit.
Ugh, that's a tough line.
Yeah.
That's a really tough line.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, moving on, I know Kyle's a little tired and everything, but I was going to say, I was able to go down to, obviously, the 500 when it's my birthday and cord last week, but they also had, also went to a few parks and things like that, so I was able to go to SeaWorld on an awesome rainy day.
You had bad weather, dude.
Yeah, it was 3 days of rain at Florida, and then it was cold, which was kind of sad. 50 degrees in Florida with the humidity and a little bit of wind makes it feels like it's 30 degrees. I'm not even kidding you. Anyway.
That's kind of how it was, I feel like, when we were there around New Year's, too. It's kind of similar. Maybe a little bit warmer, but...
Yeah, it was a little warmer.
It was
cold. And we were down there the same weekend last year, and it was 80.
Yeah.
No, it was cold this year. Me and Carsten had to cuddle at the 500. It was so cold.
We're don't tell anybody. Now, Kyle, you just messed it up.
You just told...
I wasn't the one. I wasn't the part of this deal that said don't tell anybody. I'm just
all right. I guess Kyle wants to tell her.
Okay. Kyle was completely comfortable with putting it out there.
So anyway, got to go to Disney again as well. Still not a huge fan of the parks. I'm trying to get them understood in my head of how you do things, and I'm starting to kind of I did Disney by myself, pretty much one of the parks all by myself, and I actually squeaked out 10 rides in the morning and stuff. So I was all right, well, it's not so bad after all. I figured out how to be I put my my ears on and went to work. I got some new credits and everything. I think I'm at 372 now for coaster credits. I still have more.
I'm glad you rode Expedition Everest. That's a good ride.
Yeah, that one was fun. That one was really cool. I did not expect. I haven't watched any POVs, haven't watched any videos of people going through stuff, so I'm just going through blind. I even rode for the very first time. I'm really sad to say this, but I mean, it's been a while since I've never visited the parks, but I rode It's a Small World, and not gonna lie, that when I went to bed last night, It's a Small World was in my head.
When I was at Disney, that was, this was 14 years ago now, but that was going through refurb in the middle of summer, so nice. I did not get to ride that or Peter Pan's Flight.
Well,
two very classic.
You're not
Disney
missing
rides.
out on a whole lot of anything, but it's just nostalgic and stuff and everything. But
yeah,
and so luckily Kyle kind of showed me the ropes on how to do the Disney app and how to reserve times, and got to ride Guardians.
You got on Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
What song?
Yep. What song did I get, Kyle? You're the expert.
He got Disco Inferno, which is
Is that considered a good one?
that is in the top 2. This guy has ridden Guardians twice, and he's gotten the 2 best songs.
The 2 best songs.
I can't win Winter Chill Out tickets, and I can't win the freaking lottery, but I can get like really good songs on the Guardians. So if anybody wants really good songs on the Guardians, pay for my flight down, pay for my Disney ticket, and we'll sit and ride it together.
I'm literally to the point where I'm gonna have to start flying Karsten down with me on Epcot Thursdays, because I have not gotten Everybody Wants to Rule the World since he was with me, and that was over a year ago.
So next time he's going to come down, he's going to get September.
I know, right? I'm just gonna get the trifecta.
I ride the damn ride every Thursday. I haven't gotten that song in over a year.
Are you kidding?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
so
God.
that was good. That was good stuff. I mean, I'll just tell my boss I'm just going to have Friday or Thursday and Friday, and then obviously I get Saturday off. So then, I'll just go to work back on Monday. That'll be great.
3-day weeks. 3-day weeks. You'll be able to afford those Disney trips for sure.
Yeah, right, right. But yeah, so did that. Also got to ride Tron twice. I don't know how I was able to get it twice. I'm not going to say how I got it on twice, but I'm very thankful that I got it on twice. And that was fun. That was cool.
Short. It looks short and just kind of.
It is
Theming's
short.
cool. Did you ride? Did you get a night ride?
No.
Oh.
No. I will say that those kind of coasters that like put you in that weird angle of like riding a rope.
Is it uncomfortable?
Riding
because you and I are kind of built the same way. You're taller, but you're built kind of like me.
It's not like it's comfortable. It's probably the most comfortable one that I've ever ridden. Like feeling like you're riding like a motorcycle. It's way more comfortable than the one at like Pony Express at Knott's Berry Farm.
Okay, I haven't ridden that one, but I've ridden
one I should say
others like it
at Indiana Beach. I can't remember what the name is. That
that's not a motorcycle one, but that is a very uncomfortable ride.
It's kind of the same feeling though, of like
Steel Hog, just pain.
But that one was probably the Disney's ones is definitely the most comfortable. What I did find out, like when I was like visiting, I did actually like comprehend that Disney is like, if you want to like go to like Universal or Cedar Point or whatever, you're like immersed in like theming, especially at Universal and stuff and everything. But like with Disney, it's like turning a page, and that's like literally you're immersed with it, but then it's like ground. You're like get into the nitty gritty, like the cracks on the ground. Like when you walk on a sidewalk, it's like Disney's like the crack in the ground where like you don't pay attention to that stuff. But then if you like take like a magnifying glass or something and look at the crack and like see what's going on inside the crack of the ground, to separate.
Yeah, they think of like every little.
Like it's literally thing. Like the smallest little details. It's like it's just freaking insane. It's yeah. So I do respect that, and I'm sorry, Kyle, but I kind of like Magic Kingdom. I know that you're not a huge fan of it, but
I like Magic Kingdom. I just don't like getting to Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, and I also found out that too. I didn't realize that it was like on a little peninsula, like where you got to like either take a boat, a jet.
When you were there, I was thinking about that because when I was in Florida around New Year's, I didn't go to any of the parks, but on New Year's Day, we were just like, we were kind of looking for things to do, and so we resort hopped at Disney, and we hopped on the monorail. I'm like. So we park at Ticket and Transportation Center, and it's like, okay, so you do that, then you got to hop on a monorail. Yeah. I think you got to stop at a hotel first. Well, on one of the lines you have to. So if you screw up and get on one of the wrong monorail lines, it's like, dude, I just want to drive up to the park.
Yeah. So I was able to if anyone is like on their way to Busch Gardens Tampa at all ever, there's a really cool antique mall with like a bunch of like antique and old school, like people are selling like different kinds of maps, different kinds of I don't know, brochures,
a bunch of old amusement park
plushies, just a bunch of crap that.
Well, there's also like legitimate props, like things that came from rides and shows and attractions too. It's not all junk.
It's not all junk, yeah, but I would say it's just a bunch of crap, but like it's crap that like you'd love, and people would see you and you'd be like, dude, what the hell is that? And you're like, yeah. So, but no, I thought it was really cool. Like I was able to find, I know Kyle was able to find like a tiki light, which he never showed me. So I got to pretend like I'll know what what that is for his tiki bar, and then also I was able to find like an old school like soda bottles and stuff and everything that actually are like sealed with like from like 1960s and stuff and everything. There's like that kind of stuff or whatever. I was able to buy a really cool.
Did you get those
classic,
through
like,
TSA,
7-Up
by the way?
The what?
Did you get those through TSA? I forgot to ask you this morning.
Yep.
Okay.
No one
Okay, okay, back up. I got a complaint then.
I didn't have liquid in it. There was no liquid in mine.
But I bought a little freaking snow globe at Carowinds, and they wouldn't let that through TSA.
There's too much liquid.
But it's a snow globe. You can't freaking tell me that nobody goes down to Disney and buys a snow globe.
I'm not gonna lie. I went through TSA the one time when I was visiting an ex-girlfriend down in Florida, and I had Mally's. Mally's is a huge chocolate factory, like up here in the Cleveland area. Make really good chocolate and fudge and stuff. Well,
food.
Hang on. She wanted like because I was going down to see her on her birthday, so I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna be a really cool boyfriend, and I'm gonna bring her a really nice big thing of like Judge or a fudge like spread or whatever that they were making. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm going through TSA. They pull me aside. They go, this can't go. I'm like, huh? They're like, this is like a liquid paste or whatever, and it doesn't qualify and whatever. So unfortunately, and I'm like, seriously, they're like, unfortunately, you have to throw it out. And I'm like, what the? So I spent $20 on that thing, and I'm
so
like,
embarrassing.
Well, okay, there you go.
Well, I got pulled aside. This was in the Gainesville airport, which is about the size of my living room. And they pull me aside, and it's like in that tiny little airport, everybody's looking at me. It's like the one TSA agent, and no, they made me throw it out. But shout out to Carowinds, and this, so we could talk about this because it's Cedar Fair. I emailed the park, and their merchandise director got back with me, and they found a snow globe, and they're sending it.
Oh, that's cool.
I hope that was like 2.5 weeks ago, but
that's cool. All right,
but
good on that.
Yeah, the Gainesville TSA made me throw away my snow globe. I'm like, dude, you can't tell me that. I mean, granted, nobody that's going to Disney or
try
Universal.
To fly, Evan. Come on.
But you can't tell me that of the millions of people that go to Disney, I'm
not gonna lie. I don't think I ever saw a snow globe at Disney. So,
well, I think I bought one in 20. I think my mom bought one in 2010, and we got it home, and it was a hell of a lot bigger than my Carowinds one.
Kyle might know if there's a snow globe, if they sell snow globes at Disney, but I didn't see anyone wearing
it. And if they do, they probably write on it, "This is less than 3 ounces of liquid."
They sell the liquid outside of the snow globe. They just give you the globe, whatever. But yeah, so.
Anyways, I'm still pissed about that. But
I could tell. So anyway,
you got to do one more cool thing down there.
Yeah, really, really, really cool thing. SeaWorld Orlando invited us, the Rundown on Fun, and also CP Rundown, down to take a sneak peek at the construction going on at their brand new B&M coaster called Penguin Trek. That's going to be opening up later this year. If anyone's been to SeaWorld in Orlando, you can see there used to be a old penguin ride. It was kind of like a dark ride per se that you would get in like this vehicle that would like maneuver around different obstacles and things like that. Well, anyway, during COVID, something happened. I don't know if there was a rumor, if they said what happened, but I think something happened with the batteries or something is what I heard. But that could be just a rumor. But anyway, they reconditioned the ride. They got rid of everything inside of that building for the most part, and they're actually building a brand new coaster pretty much inside the ride vehicle, like the big building that they used to use. And then also there's a huge layout outside of the building, and they still got the penguins and everything, so that's really cool. So you'll be able to interact with the penguins, and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so we got to take a peek and see some new blueprints on what's going on and stuff. They showed us that there's going to be they opened up the space area where the glaciers and everything used to be outside of the show building, where you used to like walk around and stuff and everything, and feel like Antarctica and stuff. They're also getting they're putting in a new bar. So Evan, you'll be happy that there's a new bar going.
I don't care about the bar. I want the food.
And there'll also be some new food options as well, along with a giant big gift shop that they showed us at the end, which is really cool. They also showed one of the elements. So it was interesting. One of the representatives, I think his name was Connor. Don't get me. Is what he was talking about is one of the ride elements. I think it was. I can't remember what the ride element was. What the name was, but anyway, it is a huge like almost like a sideways element kind of thing to it. You're riding snowmobiles. So like it's a B&M train, and it's like a snowmobile kind of feel to it and stuff. And you're like sitting down and you're going through stuff and everything. And what I got from it is pretty much you're trying to escape like the natural habitat of the penguins, and the ice and everything is like melting around you and enclosing you and stuff in there. So you need to like blast out of that area. And anyway, one of the elements on the ride is like kind of like sideways, but it's actually the tallest element, which is 65 or 64 feet. Which is interesting because I was like, I thought when you first got launched up on the top hill or whatever that was higher, but actually that's going to be that's not going to be the highest point, which is pretty interesting. They also showed us that they're doing a bunch of the landscaping and stuff around the ride right now. They've got a bunch of bushes like on the hilltops, things like that they still need to plan out, and they need to plant. They're still wiring up the coaster and getting everything ready, just like what they were doing with Top Joe 2, trying to make sure like all the wiring, all the control panels are put in, all of the netting and stuff like that for like low track that's low and stuff like that. They're doing that, putting in brand new pathways. Really cool. We got to see inside the show building. There's literally going to be like a screen that separates between one of the track pieces and another track of the piece, like when you first start out, and then when you're like exiting out of the show building. But they showed like a bunch of the it was almost like metal rock work, I guess you could say, but it doesn't have. It's going to be filled up with like fake concrete, and obviously they're going to theme it to like look like it's going to be like ice and glaciers and things like that. But it's all bare right now, so you had to be really, really careful because it was very sharp. If you ran into that, but obviously we had hard hats, so we didn't. No one lost any blood. Hopefully, didn't get poked or anything like that. But yeah, so definitely it was really cool. I thought it was really cool that they actually kept some of the old like remnants of the show building that used to be there. Like I said, that old penguin ride. You could see on the floor. No one's ever really going to see this. The track is actually white on the outside, but then obviously you're not going to see the track because it'll probably be dark and whatever lighting that they're going to do and stuff. But the track is actually black on the inside of the show building, which is I thought was kind of cool. And then we also got to see like the stators. Those are the LSMs that will launch the train from wherever it's going to go to wherever it's going to go, just like Top Thrill 2. And yeah, I mean, like again, huge shout out to the park, for inviting us out. Hopefully, maybe I'll make it to Media Day, or one of us will make it to Media Day. I know Justin. He was there as well, and he was taking pictures and representing as well. We got to see just a little bit of the glimpse. They did have a train on the transfer track. You could see the front of the snowmobile on the train. We did see that on IAPA as well. I don't know. I think I reported on that.
Yep.
when we got to see
you
it.
talking
Stuff.
about that.
But yeah, so
trains.
I'm a big penguin fan. I'm happy that they're keeping the penguins, and they're going to be showing off a lot of the stuff and everything. And I do actually have them. All those photos that were posted. If anybody is listening and curious, if you search, we're gonna probably do like a group page for this, for our updates with like photos and videos and interviews and whatever that we do that is not related to Cedar Point and possibly Cedar Fair parks. We're gonna post them on our brand new group page. It's called the Rundown on Fun Podcast. Look it up on Facebook. You can see. I probably took like 50 or 60 photos, and you can kind of see like the gist of what's going on. And I'll post that on our Facebook page, just because I remember the last time I posted like some cool updates, and I think it was actually when Kyle was
Kyle's media day at Pipeline. Yeah. Everybody got all bent out of shape. That's not Cedar Point.
Yeah, what ride is that at Cedar Point? That doesn't look like. Wait, what? Like they brought back the
I remember one of the comments specifically, which we probably kicked and booted the guy from the group. He's like, "You guys are CP Rundown, not SeaWorld Rundown." It's like, oh my god, get a grip.
I think in the long story term, if our podcast listeners, we're obviously going to be Cedar Point and Cedar Fair driven, and that is always going to be our first and number one news story, and everything up front will always be Cedar Fair and Cedar Point and everything up front in the podcast. But then later on in the podcast, maybe we'll create like a cool transition or something. And we'll have like maybe like on the Rundown on Fun, like off location or something like that, to where, we do share these updates. Cause I mean, the parks are reaching out to us cause they like our content. And they like, what we've been producing and stuff. So I don't want to shut ourselves down from not talking like that.
And so. I mean, we do kind of already like, if like in this episode, for example, we talked Cedar Point, we talked Dorney Park, we talked Knott's Berry Farm, and then Carson was in Florida, put that at the end of the show.
Right.
Evan was at Universal, put that at the end of the show. Busch Gardens, Williamsburg announced this big, cool, awesome thing. We'll talk what we're going to talk about, then put it at the end of the show.
Yep.
So I think that's kind of been our formula so far, and I think that's going to continue being our formula. Yeah. But now we're just going to kind of make it more official, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but again, huge shout out to SeaWorld Orlando for inviting us. It was really cool to see everything behind the scenes, and I can't wait.
And SeaWorld's a fun park, and it's a fun park, and it was probably nice to be there.
That, and then also, they've Kyle, quote me if I'm wrong. They've got the most B&M coasters at one park. Is that true?
Yeah, I believe once Penguin Trek opens, I don't know if they'll have the most or if they'll be tied, but it's one of those two.
Pipeline, Manta, Kraken, Penguin Trek, Mako. That's 5. Jesus. That's a pretty penny right there. Those B&M coasters are not cheap.
No, they're not cheap, but they run really well, and they've got really good reliability. So,
yeah, and they're fun rides.
And I do have to say, not a knock on Cedar Point or anything like that, but every single park that I visited this weekend, this week, there was not any downtime whatsoever. So I'm looking at you, Cedar Point, for hopefully, possibly, maybe there was a blip in the maintenance last year. I don't know. Well, I know we visited other Cedar Fair parks and really haven't had any issues, but hopefully that,
I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Hopefully,
Carsten, you said what I wanted to say very well.
Yes. Hopefully this year that there'll be a lot more uptime. I know that Tony was asked about that at previous events, and they said they were looking at fixing it. So I'm curious to see what is going to happen.
I would hope.
Right.
Anyways,
we can only go from here, right?
That's a good time to remind everybody once again that Top Thrill 2 being a new ride, it's going to break down. So don't hold that against the park. Hold everything else against the park.
No.
Anywho.
No.
Anywho, we love Cedar Point. We're just,
Speaking of
you even make fun of your family, right? So
yeah. Speaking of loving Cedar Point, Evan, you want to close this out?
Let's wrap this up. I think this show's gone a lot longer than we wanted it to. Winter Chill Outs this weekend. We'll be there in 36 hours. I'll be there. I'm in the 8 a.m. group. Carsten, you and Kyle, you are in the 10:30 or 10 o'clock group.
Yeah, I'm also in the 10 a.m. group.
So you guys are in that group, but I'm in the 8 a.m. I'm in the first group. So starting at 8 a.m., keep an eye on the CP Rundown Facebook page. I will be posting through CP Rundown, probably starting with, hey, I'm here. Here's the front gate. Looks pretty cool. The itinerary and all that. And, of course, all the Top Thrill 2 content you could ever imagine.
As long as the park lets us post.
Yes, everything that the park lets us post, I will post. But yeah, expect a good few posts. The new merchandise, whatever food they tell us about, whatever we're allowed to post news wise, I will post. There's always a little something that they tell us that we're not allowed to talk about for a couple days until the park posts about it. But that's why you go to Winter Chill Out, right? So you get that first look.
Or maybe we'll get the news tomorrow, because sometimes the park likes to release a lot of the.
Yeah, that was kind of the formula, so to speak, for a few years there. And then last year they kind of got away from that. But yeah, so very exciting. So look on our Facebook page, keep an eye on that for me posting, and I'm sure Carsten will follow up with posts later. But I will be in the park before Carsten's even out of bed.
So that is very true. I love how it's going to go from 50, 40, 40, 50, 20, or not 20, maybe 30, and then it goes 50, 50, 40, and whatever else. It's really going to be super cold on Saturday for this. So
lo and behold, the coldest day in the last 7 days and the next 20 days is going to be Saturday. The high in Sandusky is 28 degrees.
Yeah. So whatever. At least you get to see Top Thrill 2 up close.
And it's not going to rain or it's not going to snow, so it'll be a great time. Looking forward to it. And we will definitely have an episode next week. We would be a very bad Cedar Point podcast to not have an episode next week. So we will definitely
maybe we can shoot one a little earlier in the week or something. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what
Kyle's
Kyle's flying down tomorrow night. Just to join us up here and
flying up.
I am.
Flying up here.
And if you don't let him go to bed, he's not going to post it tonight.
All right. Let's wrap it up. Kyle, roll it.
Yeah, so anyway, make sure that you watch our podcast and watch our content and listen for the podcast next week if you can't make it to Winter Chill Out. I'm going first and I'm out.
Yeah, that was we broke formula there. I already said everything I need to say, Kyle.
All right, I'll close this out. That's going to do it for this week. This went way longer than any of us expected it to. But be sure to tune in next week to hear about all we did at Winter Chill Out and everything coming up in the future. That's going to do it. Take it away, Justin.
Thank you for listening to the Rundown on Fun. Be sure to follow us on social media to stay up to date on all things Cedar Fair. As always, be kind to your ride operators, and we will see you on the Midway. Good night.